Good morning to the heat pump crowd that is gathering today in Brussels. At the entrance, I talked to a few guests and everybody confirmed that there is very good vibes in this room. And I'm sorry to interrupt your lively conversation, but we have to start. Our keynote speaker, Castiglione, has already arrived. And yeah, we're here in the Atomium. Some people have said, oh, this is really difficult to get to. Maybe it's a bit indicative for the energy transition that we have ahead of us. So I would like to say welcome to the Atomium, or maybe I should say welcome to the future. Welcome to the future of decarbonized heating and cooling. But what does the Atomium have to do with that? Most of us know it has 9 atoms. It's an iron molecule multiplied 165, let me just check that, billion times, so not million, billion times. So the iron atom is really small. And it's a Brussels landmark. It was originally created to show a peaceful, to be a symbol for the peaceful use of nuclear energy and the advancement of technology. For the World Exhibition 1958. And the World Exhibition 1958 was the first World Exhibition after the Second World War. So Europe was in shambles, and maybe that's something we didn't plan, but we have a similar situation today. Europe is in distress. We are facing a war. We have to do things differently. It was half art, half architecture. It was created as a gateway for the public to discover the benefits of technology. What can science do for society? But today it has become a meeting point. It's a meeting point for cultural communities, and I think that's where the cycle closes. We have used this as a meeting point for all of you. I think it's safe to say for the first time we have very many participants at this event that are not the traditional heat pump manufacturers. We have investors here, journalists, consultancies, and so on. So we see really that there is a change taking place in this industry, and we dare say this change is desperately needed. On top of it, we are in a super special sphere named by the Russian-Belgian Ilya Prigozhin. He's a chemist, so I don't understand half of what he has done. But he was also holding a chair for statistical mechanics and thermodynamics at the university in Chicago and Austin. And he received a Nobel Prize in chemistry for, and I need to read this, for thermodynamics of irreversible processes. Those of you that are chemists, you probably know what that really means. I couldn't explain it. The important point for me, for this person, is there is a connection to thermodynamics that we all look into, but also all his life he spent to bridge between science and society. And that's where I would like to pick up. We need to create a connection role between electricity and heat, electricity and cool. System integration should be a driving factor for the policy and the reality of the near future. Heat pumps are integrators in this case. They use green electricity. They help to stabilize electric grids, so they actually make the grids more stable than if there were less heat pumps. This dual functionality makes it also one of the most energy efficient products that we have in this market. And so energy efficiency first, you could say, means also heat pumps first. And I'm very happy to say that this has been understood by policymakers by and large. We have recognition on all levels of the policy process in all pieces of legislation. And we discussed it yesterday. Heat pumps are indeed, and maybe unfortunately, one of the most heavily regulated pieces of technology that you can find in Europe, maybe after nuclear power. The good thing is the technology is here, so we don't need to wait for an innovation breakthrough. We can work with what we have and then incrementally increase to cover most sectors of society. It, of course, creates a challenge because we have been growing with double-digit. 2021 saw a 34% growth. The first numbers for 2022 show that even the first half has about 28% in additional growth. But we need to be more ambitious, and hence we chose the topic of this year's event. Ambition requires action. We see high-level targets. We are still not seeing the same level of implementation action on the ground. And that's why we call for a heat pump accelerator. Ursula von der Leyen, in her speech recently when announcing the EU Green Deal, she talked about a moonshot moment, Europe's man on the moon. I think we need a similar type of ambition and endeavor built on dedication and cooperation. to make the necessary possible, and the heat pump industry is ready. Michael E. Mann talks about agency and urgency, and that's a good thing. We have to get rid of gas, but we have technologies available. Hence, this heat pump accelerator is a cooperative approach to deploy millions of units. But it's not a gift to the industry. It's not like, okay, policymakers, please give us this accelerator and a lot of taxpayers' money, and then we will proceed. No, it's also a service to society, you could say, because we have to get rid of fossil energy, not only for to get rid of the consequences of this atrocious war in the Ukraine, but also to remedy the aspects of climate change, so to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade. And what we think this heat pump accelerator is wherever possible, we need a dedication from the highest political level. We need to work under the auspices of the European Commission that could call all stakeholders in industry, member states, industry, social society, consultancies, consumer association to boost the renewable heating and cooling. And we have seen a number of papers that are now published and circulated. They call for a renewable booster, they call for an energy transition alliance and similar. And we hope that this can be picked up by the European Commission. I'm very happy to hear what Kerstin has to say about that. So finally, we call for this heat pump accelerator as an all hands on deck comprehensive approach to move from ambition to action, and to unleash the contribution potential of heating and cooling towards the goal of a sustainable, reliable, and integrated energy system as a whole. Today, we will talk about what's needed to make this future a reality. We will talk about this future in the Atomium. And with that, I welcome you all once more, and I would happily hand over to Patrick Crombé, who will give a few insights from the industrial perspective. Where do we stand? What can we do? How fast can we go? And then we open the program as announced. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to be here. Welcome you all to Brussels, to the Atomium, to Belgium, which for Daikin is our home country in Europe. We established the company already here in 1972, working on AC and heat pumps already from that time. And that's basically what we are here to do for the next years onwards. As Thomas was mentioned, the theme today is really to call for an alliance. We are looking at figures put forward to us by the European Commission that are really staggering. We're talking about 20 million heat pumps installed by 2026, 30 to 60 million by 2030. So there's a lot to do. And that's clear that in this room here, there are different manufacturers, but there's room enough for everybody. We are not competitors. We are really colleagues to make this challenge happen. And that's again part of this alliance that we would like to call for. The numbers indeed are great. Production capacity is being built up as we speak. We ourselves as Daikin have continued to build up the capacity. We are planning to build up capacity ×4 between last year and 2026, which these investments in many countries in Europe, going from Belgium to Czech Republic to Germany and lately also in Poland. Other manufacturers in the room here have announced similar plans. So from that side, I would be positive to say that the steps are being taken. Now it's about developing the market and developing the market itself, making also sure that down in the market there is installation capacity. There is a power supply to make the heat pumps run. And again, that's where this alliance that we were talking about actually needs to join forces to put everything in the right direction to deliver according to the plan and to succeed actually in the challenge in decarbonizing heat. It is possible from a technical point of view. As Thomas has said, technology is there. Technology will keep developing, of course, and innovations are still coming. Major investments also in R&D are happening. And again, the colleagues around the table or around the room here today have announced plans into that direction. We're looking at smarter heat pumps, especially to interact with the grid, to make them more easy to install, to make them especially more quicker to install, because that's, again, a challenge that we are faced with. So all in all, technology-wise, we are moving forward. The accelerator actually will put the noses further in the same direction. So we're very much supporting this initiative, looking forward to be able to interact with all the stakeholders to deliver upon the task ahead, and to have the platform ready to discuss when things are not going according to plan. We will have issues down the line, but we need to be prepared to tackle them. We need to have a forum where we can discuss those and proceed accordingly. So from that side, again, welcome to everybody. I'm looking forward to the interactions today. Already yesterday evening, some discussions were quite interesting, so I'm looking forward to many more of those. I will quit here at this time, and it's happy for me also to introduce our keynote speaker, which is Ms. Kirsten Jorna. She's a German national and European civil servant. She's held various positions, amongst others. She's head of cabinet for several commissioners and also had different director posts. Currently, she's DG of Internal Market, Industry, Entrepreneurship, and SMEs. And therefore, before that, she was in charge of Economic and Financial Affairs. A very big welcome, and I'm looking forward to your comments. Thank you again.